Hey, my soulful sweethearts, my darlings. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I'm really blessed, whether we're live or you're watching this later. Energetically, I don't think it really matters that much, but it is great to see your comments and connect with you. So thank you. Thank you for letting me be part of your day. So I want to talk about finding our balance. And I think this is different for everyone because we're unique beings. We're spiritual beings having human experiences, and each of us are unique. We are all physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, creative, and social beings. And I think the most important thing we can do is figure out who we are, find our unique shape and our balance. And I think sometimes we have to go out of balance to realize we need to claim balance. There was a saying about this spiritual teacher, and his students said, well, you never go out of balance. You're always just so aligned. And he goes, no, I go out of balance. I just come back to center more quickly. And that's my intention, to realize more quickly, I'm going out of balance. So I need to care for myself to come back to a place of alignment and being centered. So that's why I started a little later today, because I felt a little out of balance. And so I needed to spend a little more time meditating and grounding myself so that I could show up in more of my authentic power, not just be kind of, my sister sometimes say, you weren't really on your game today, on your Facebook game today. So my intention is to be on my game so that I can be really present and grounded and connected with you. So I took a little extra time to just care for myself. And I think that's a lot of what this comes down to have that revelation or realization. I'm a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, creative, and social being. So what do I need to do to care for myself and nurture myself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, creatively, and maybe socially? For years, I was way out of balance. I was kind of obsessed with myself physically. So I spent a lot of time in the gym, a lot of time worried about my body. And the interesting thing was, the more I focused on it, the more out of balance I got. The more it seemed my goals eluded me because I wasn't caring for the other aspects of myself, emotionally, spiritually. So as I started to realize I needed to do these things, and again, it was because I went way out of balance, my health ended up really suffering. I realized I need to care for these other aspects of myself. And as I have, and as I know how to, the health is improved immensely. The finances have improved immensely. Every aspect of my life has come into balance because I care for myself in all ways. So I think it's very important to consider, how can I honor myself? How can I care for myself? How can I nurture myself in all these different areas and all these different arenas, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, creatively? And we all have a unique shape, as I mentioned. Some of us are more extroverted, some of us are more introverted, some of us are creative in different ways. You know, we all express our creativity in different ways. I think, a lot of times people say, well, Tammy, I'm not creative. I think if you're breathing, you're an aspect of creative, intelligent, therefore creative and intelligent. So how do we express and care for ourselves creatively? And for me, that's through art. Byron, I see you're here. You're an amazing artist. And that is something that fulfills my soul in a really profound way. And I didn't always know this. I didn't always take responsibility for this because I was too obsessed with caring for my body, and I had to make money. 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 And so I also thought about, and I think this is important to consider, when you're really motivated to care for something, be it your physical self, as I was, or making money, is that motivation coming from fear, or is it coming from love? Because if your motivation, if the fuel to what you are doing is motivated by fear, it's more likely that you're not going to reap positive rewards. So I was working out really hard. For instance, I was in the gym twice a day, maybe for an hour and a half, 2 hours twice a day. And I was weighing my food. I was really obsessing about looking as good as possible because I was an actress and model. And again, the more I obsessed about it, the less the result that I wanted occurred. And as I considered this, it was because the fuel, the motivation behind what I was doing was fear. I was afraid I wasn't going to look good enough. It wasn't love. It wasn't self-care. It wasn't self-honoring. I was willing to try to manipulate myself in order to get the result that I wanted. And therefore, it eluded me. So what is the fuel behind what you're doing? Is it joy? Is it self-honoring? Is it self-love? Is it kindness? Is it celebration? Or is it coming more from a place of internal deficit and fear? You know, I talk to a lot of people that are really stressed about money. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to get money. I have to get money. I have to get money. Hi, Brad. How are you? But that motivation is coming from this internal deficit of not having enoughness. It's fear. It's not knowing one's value. It's not understanding one's worthiness from a higher perspective. And what I've found pretty consistently is that life can't treat us more kindly and more lovingly than we're willing to treat ourselves. So to really think about, what would self-love look right now? What would self-honoring feel like? What would self-care look like or do or be right now? To really ask yourself those questions and listen quietly to what bubbles up, not from the thinking conscious mind, but from the heart, from the soul. And I think once we want to make that relationship with our heart and soul more of a priority, it's when we can start to relax and find our balance and find our natural, authentic shape. We can show up in a more, almost a more vulnerable way in our lives, but a more attractive way. Because what's not attractive is posturing and posing and pretending to be something more or other or different than who we truly are. What's really attractive is authenticity, a sense of internal comfort. So I've intended to come home to myself. And that, again, just comes from a place of being really relaxed and comfortable inside of myself. And as we do that for ourselves, it's almost like we give permission for others to take a deep breath and find their authentic shape. My teachers once said something to me that I really loved. As we heal, as we choose to heal, to know ourselves, to love ourselves, to be comfortable in our own skin, we don't heal alone. That ripple effect can naturally just kind of emanate from us in a really gentle, grace-filled way. And for me, that's how I like to live, in a gentle, grace-filled way. So is that something that you want to do? Is that something that resonates for you? Or do you believe you have to work hard and do and prove to survive? You know, how is it you want to live your life? Because life treats us the way we treat ourselves. So if we believe we have to work hard and prove, if we have to do things we don't want to survive, if we believe that, and if that's how we're showing up in our lives, life is going to be a reflection of that. But if we open our mind to the possibility, you know what? I'm valuable and I'm worthy because I exist. And sometimes this has to start as a mental concept before it can really soak down into our emotions and down to our soul. We have to open our mind to the possibility. Maybe I am worthy and valuable because I exist. Maybe I do deserve prosperity and a healthy body, not because of anything I'm actively doing, but because I'm settling into my beingness, settling into right relationship with that something greater, settling into home inside of myself. For me, this started as an experiment, but the more I experiment with it, the better my life seems to work. So often there's a saying, and I think Marianne Williamson said this, so many people are like princes and princesses playing around trash cans. It's like a lot of people don't know that they're actual royalty, royal heirs to the universe, which you are, which I am, which every single one of us is. But if we don't know it, life can't treat us as such. So do you know you're a princess? Do you know you're a prince? Do you know you're royalty? Do you know that you are an heir to the riches and abundance of the universe? Hey, Pamela K, I love you. You're very sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that immensely. Pamela, do you know you're a princess? I hope you do. I think you do, because you are. And once we deeply inherently know this and accept this, it's not like we have to prove it to anyone. We don't have to posture and pretend and pose to be better than anyone. It's sort of like if you're a parent and you have children, you don't want them to have to be fighting and vying to prove that they are your favorite, right? You want to love all your children. And I think God loves all of his children, aka human beings, equally. But do we know this? Can we believe this? Can we receive this? And then when life shows up in a way, excuse me, I have a frog that's trying to come up here. When life shows up in a way that's unkind or hard, we don't beat ourselves up and self-flagellate and go, what am I doing wrong, or why is God punishing me? We take that moment, we pull back, because when life is hard, perhaps we're going out of balance. How can we pull our energy back and say, how can I be kind to myself? How can I be self-honoring? What does Spirit want to say to me right now? What does my heart and soul want me to know right now? Really listen. Not why is this happening to me, but why is this happening for me? What is the learning opportunity? Because there are learning opportunities in every one of our challenges. We're not here to be punished. We're here to learn and grow and expand as souls. We're here to learn the lessons of love. And that really needs to start and end with ourselves. And as we know this, as we experience more self-love and honor ourselves more authentically and more consistently, not only does life show up in a more kind and honoring way, we become a kind and incredible blessing to the ones that know us, and perhaps even the ones that don't, because our energy ripples out and affects and influences the entire planet and maybe the entire universe. So I'm hoping that you do know your importance and value as a unique, incredible, divine child of God. You are the child in whom God is well pleased. And the more you open your mind to this possibility and accept this as your reality, again, the better you're going to feel and the better your life is going to look. And when things do go out of balance, which they will, you know to bring your energy back and ask, how do I come into balance? Is there something I need to do for myself, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, creatively? What is it that I need to come back into my alignment and find my authentic shape? What is it I need to know or do to care for me right now? And it's okay to ask for help. You're not in this alone, because the truth is we are all one. So I got clear that I really need to take greater responsibility for cleaning up some of the clutter in my studio. I need to get more organized. And this isn't a natural gift or talent or propensity of mine. I hope it is in perhaps the next incarnation. So I reached out to a friend of mine. I said, can I pay you to help me with this? And she said, sure. So it's a lot more fun to do this in friendship and partnership with another soul. And it's a lovely exchange of energy. She's helping me and I'm paying her. And so sometimes we need to ask for support. We need to ask for what it is that we really, really want. But as we know how to do this within ourselves, we don't show up in a way where we're insisting people show up in a certain way to care for us. We know how to care for ourselves. And we know how to ask and receive graciously, not insist, not force, not press, not come from fear, but come from love. And so I'm hoping that you know that you are loved, that you are incredibly, immensely valuable. I hope you know that you are a prince or princess and are relaxing into that space of alignment and your authentic, comfortable, at home within yourself shape. And something I like to start every day with is just after I become conscious of becoming conscious, just sitting up and receiving God's grace, because we can't manifest more than we believe we deserve. And if we do, we're probably going to not be able to sustain it. It's going to be like the carrot that dangles, you get it, but then it's going to be ripped away from you. We need to be on that internal ground of self-love, self-honoring, and know that we're valuable, worthy, adored, lovable, And that's when life can show up in a way that is easily, comfortably supportive and divinely blessed. And I want that for you. You know, I've done a lot of work to get to this place in my life where I feel at home. I feel at home within myself. I like myself. I love my life. But it didn't happen easily or naturally. It took a lot of work. But I think that work can be graceful and easy if we claim that for ourselves. And again, that's something I like to start every day with. I'm living this day in grace and ease. Grace and ease, grace and ease. Another very helpful, easy, lovely tip is before you go to bed at night to request that anything and everything that is no longer serving you, any blocks or barriers between who you think you are and the truth of who you are, to be lifted and dissolved with grace and ease while you sleep. That's an easy thing that we can do to start clearing our subconscious blocks and barriers. It's an easy thing that we can do, that we can request and receive as we sleep. I thought life had to be hard for a lot of years, and so it was. Once I realized I could ask for grace and ease, and I deserved grace and ease, then life started to show up in more graceful, easy fashion. And again, that doesn't mean we're not going to go out of balance. It doesn't mean we're not going to have kind of off days. But when things start to go out of balance, we know to pull the energy back and say, how can I honor myself right now? What do I need to do to come back into balance right now? And often for me, it's slow down. Slow down. Ground yourself. Spend time in that place of connection and alignment with your heart, and allow yourself to be nurtured and replenished from the inside out. So I would be interested in knowing what your thoughts are as you're listening to this and hanging out with me. Does it resonate? Is it foreign? Does it make perfect sense? Did you already know? Because to me, the most important thing of all is being in dialogue and conversation and relationship. And I would be very honored to hear your thoughts and ideas and how you're feeling and how you're doing in your own life. So just know that you're in my thoughts, my heart, my prayers, my meditations. You're often in my dreams. And if there's anything I can do to support you, you know, that's why I'm here. My life is fun. I'm not going to deny it. But what makes it even more fulfilling, again, is to be in conversation with my darlings, you, my soul sibling, my friend. And so, yeah, let's just continue the conversation. Let me know how you're thinking, feeling, doing, if this material resonates for you, if there's anything I can do to support you. And know that you're in my heart and prayers. So take good, gentle, self-honoring care of yourself. Open your mind and heart more deeply to the truth that you are adored and important and adorable and a vital, unique aspect of the divine. So take care of yourself and let's continue the conversation. Let's be in touch. God bless you. Onward and upward. Bye for now.